You're listening to Cosplay Bites, the podcast that takes a closer look at the world of cosplay, conventions, and all the nerdy bits and bytes. Brought to you by the Lightning Palace and proudly sponsored by Anchor. Join me as I discuss a variety of topics and conventions alongside the joy of bringing your favorite characters to life. Alright, early in the morning, trying to get this out of the way, trying to give you guys a brand new episode and something to listen to. So, hey, what's going on, guys? I'm here for another episode of Cosplay Bites, the show about cosplay conventions and all the nerdy bits and bytes. I just had to get over just a bunch of personal shit to try and get my mood boosted a little bit. But I do have a couple of things hopefully planned in the works. Just still having a little bit of frustration with trying to get some guests. Mainly, it's just a waiting game now and having things on their end improved so that they'll have a free day to record with me. But I do have one friend of mine that'll be joining me hopefully on an upcoming Sunday recording. So definitely look forward to that. Just quick admin stuff, and then we can get this episode going, considering the limitations of recording within Anchor and all that in terms of the time limit. So, over on my free Patreon, just a special shout out to those who are my patrons over there. I have Kendall, Nicole Marie Jean, Noah, Mink the Satyr, Oh My Sophie, Coralia Jade, and Shaylin. And with that, over on my blog, The Lightning Palace, still trying to get write-ups going so that you all enjoy them. Over the last couple of weeks, from the end of September into early October, you can check out features and showcases on cosplayers such as Starner Cosplays Supergirl, Christy Chase, Paya from Breath of the Wild. You got Callisto Cosplays Rule 63. Right, that's it. The gender bend of Nightwing, as well as April Gloria's Jester from Critical Role. And I'm going to be writing an upcoming post about Jess Blaze cosplays Jessie from Final Fantasy VII Remake. As well as you can also take a peek at my review on Transistor, which is the first game for me with jumping into the roguelike genre, and I absolutely loved it. So, the main topic for this episode, similar to past episodes regarding virtual conventions, this past weekend would have been New York Comic Con's just event, and obviously that didn't happen due to the current pandemic. So they explored a couple months back with what they call the Metaverse, and they explored this a couple months back with Emerald City Comic Con. And so this time they kind of like teamed up with MCM Comic Con, which is they're owned also by Reed Pop, but MCM is kind of like the Comic Con over for the UK side. But yeah, much like the last time they did this, my my YouTube subscription feed was spammed with a butt ton of panels that were recorded and premiered that went live, and it was just basically like a pick and choose kind of thing depending on what your interests were. And there were actually a couple of panels that I had an interest in, so I wanted to check them out, and some of them were actually really enjoyable. Before I get into the ones that I watched, peeking over to their website, which was kind of fun, sort of gave me that reminiscent tick. Like clicking on the show floor, they actually like provided almost like a pseudo like map of what a convention would look like. If you ever looked into like a program guide for the convention, they had the map and they had like all the locations and booth numbers. This was kind of like that. They just had some random hold on. Early morning stuff. Fun. Um, yeah, they had some random company names, as well as sections, one devoted to anime and manga, cosplay section, a booth all toward Nickelodeon. Like I'm looking at this right now as I'm talking with you guys, and I did a couple. I did some window shopping of things to maybe get alongside in November/December for my apartment. So I know I got one thing picked out, but I got a lot of upcoming things that I'm planning on buying. Uh, Stuff that I should be getting in the mail this month, and then stuff for next month. Um, that aside, they had their schedule, um, a list of all the retailers that were participating in this event. They had their artist alley, which was showcasing all the artists that were also participating. This was a section that I didn't really take a peek at. Um, but there's like some independent artists and like comic book artists that were there. Some panels also had like a virtual meet and greet shortly after the panel itself that you could buy into, I think, ahead of time. But yeah, just getting into that. Um, my whole YouTube subscription fee was like covered in like NYCC Metaverse panels, stuff about comics, stuff about TV shows, upcoming things like movies and whatnot. So what did I watch? Some interesting things that I did take a peek at. There was the Smallville cast reunion with um some of the main cast members from the show. Um, that was an interesting peek at some of their favorite episodes they've done, or like hilarious stories from recording some episodes and filming. Um, so that was really interesting. You had Tom Welling, Laura Vandervoot, Michael Rosenbaum, and Sam Witwer, who they were all integral to the show. Other panels I watched was a look at the upcoming Batman Death in the Family animated film, which is actually the first like interactive film over on DC animated side, where they did a retelling of the iconic storyline where Jason Todd was killed off. But this time they're actually or they actually created sections where if you wanted to see Jason Todd live, or have him cheat death, so to speak. So that was interesting. You had some of the cast members from that movie pop in. One of my favorite panels had to have been the reunion in regards to Batman Beyond. So you had, hang on, my phone's going off. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see. So yeah, the Batman Beyond panel was very, very interesting. It had Kevin Conroy, who played Batman, as well as Will Friedle, who played Terry McGinnis, as well as Andrea Romano, who has become like synonymous as like the I'll say it's like the GOAT in terms of like casting director for a bunch of DC's like animated adventure and films like back in the 90s, like people from my generation grew up with. Um that was really, really interesting, and to see um both the leads like express a lot of joy in recording for the series, as well as the Return of the Joker movie, which if you haven't seen that yet, I highly recommend it. It still holds up after all these years. Definitely one of my all-time favorite animated films. Then you had like the like NYCC like kickoff streams they did every now and then. I did do a little peek at I guess Hulu's doing a series all about MODOK, and it did say animated, so I just assumed like the animation that you're used to, but no, they're doing the very like robot chicken like puppet claymation kind of thing, and it was actually really interesting to watch. So there was that. I'm just like scrolling down the my YouTube feed. Um, yeah, just a lot of panels. I'd say a lot more than what was shown back when they first had this event. Um, I think it did go pretty well. Um, Again, I didn't do a lot of merch buying. I did that stuff ahead of time. Let's see. They have panels like stuff about like Marvel Comics, stuff regarding like the DC's current death metal event that's going on right now. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot. um, Stuff like Agents of Shield and just other things that definitely had interest throughout a wide variety of people. There's a panel about Sonic the Hedgehog. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh cast reunion panel, a panel regarding the upcoming Animaniacs reboot that Hulu will be producing and making. Um, yeah, just to look forward into the rest of the year and a look back at iconic series and TV shows, as well as just stuff going on right now. They had stuff with like Stargirl, look back at the first season as well as what's upcoming for her second season. Um, scrolling up. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Just a lot of panels. Which I mean, when I would go to New York Comic Con, very rarely do I go to panels unless it's very interesting. To me personally, because for me, like Comic Con is just all about like experiencing the convention floor, spending a lot of money, buying a lot of merch, hanging out with a lot of my friends, stuff like that. So I kind of actually missed it a lot this past weekend, because that was just like the main thing that was missing, from this whole metaverse event, was just going to the con itself, like just experiencing the con floor and just walking around, taking in all the sights and the smells, the food and all that. Um, so I mean, I really don't know how things will pan out next year, just for conventions in general. But I hope things improve and that conventions are able to come out back in full swing. Um, yeah. Sorry, I was half hoping to maybe get a guest on with me for this episode to maybe just do like a catch up with them, as well as maybe their thoughts regarding the whole event. Um, if they've ever also attended any virtual conventions on their end. Um, but yeah, that's another kind of format I've been looking to when it comes to getting new episodes out for you guys, would just to have like repeat guests that you guys have heard of from before, and just sort of be like a little catch up with them to see how things are going on there and regarding like how they've been managing like cosplaying and content creation throughout quarantine. And like I had mentioned at the top of the show, one of my best friends, we were gonna do something today, but it was too last minute for her. So we're gonna hopefully plan on a Sunday, just to be a little get to know her kind of thing, because this will be her first time on the show. And then I don't know, there are some like dream guests that I still have high hopes for maybe getting one day. Um, because that's what I find myself doing. just the last couple of days immediately, just asking around on Twitter if people were free and wanted to finally set up a recording day after initially showing interest, maybe way back when. So, because that's definitely the hard part. In addition to finding new cosplays to share on my blog, it's producing new content for you guys for the show. But with no conventions happening, that's why I'm hoping that the whole catch up interviews with past guests would provide some insight, maybe some new tips and tricks, even though a lot of the recent episodes throughout this year have been regarding content creation from home, social distancing photo shoots, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm actually just gonna quickly read off. So I have this own little table of future episodes and schedules. Other cosplayers I'm hoping to have on would be my friend Casey, who also goes by the name Vanity Fox. I'm also hoping to have Danielle Ballou at some point. A special dual guest episode with Chrissy Victory and Juliet Michelle. In regards to specifically what it's like collaborating with other cosplayers and creators. I am hoping to have my bestie Coralia Jade on an episode, as well as have Oh My Sophie alongside April Gloria with me as for a collaborative episode regarding their cosplay history, so to speak, but also how it's been for them with their own cosplay podcast that they've been working on. And I would just absolutely love to have Holly Wolf back on. The tentative subject title that I came up with, and mainly is just surrounding being anonymous online and how content creators deal with just people acting really disgusting or rude towards them through an anonymous username, so to speak. So that's the kind of stuff that I have currently planned. Um oh man. And yes, I'm still holding out to have Jessica Negri on an episode eventually. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm definitely still hoping that maybe she'll be able to find some time to do an episode with me. And yeah, we'll definitely just go from there. And other individuals like Riddle, who also showed an interest, but just things on her end are just preventing just setting up and recording. So there are just still a lot of people that I have set. And yeah, it's somewhat of a shorter episode. Again, I'm sorry if it is short for you guys, but I wanted to get something out there, and I figured with the Metaverse having just happened last week, and just give you something to learn about. If you were having an interest in looking at these panels that were posted, definitely head over to New York Comic Con's YouTube account, and you can either subscribe to them or just flip through all their upload and pick out panels that speak to you and just have shows that you have an interest in. So yeah, that's all I got. I guess to end it, if you want to support the show, you can do so by either becoming a supporter through Anchor's website itself or a supporter on my Patreon, where you can get some goodies if you are so inclined / generous to pledge any amount that you'd want to. And am I missing anything? No, I think that's it. Just hopeful plans of getting more guests as the year comes to a close, and hopefully all you guys are doing well and just stay safe, wash your hands, all that stuff that people should be doing. And I will hopefully see you guys soon for another episode. So, yeah, that's it. Take care, guys. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a review and feedback. You can also support the show through Anchor's listener support or on my Patreon, patreon.com/lightningpalace. For more cosplay news and coverage, visit the Lightning Palace on Blogspot and follow Lightning Palace on Twitter and Instagram. See you all next time.